Hi everyone. In this video, we are looking at how to invoke a external authenticated API from an app UI extension for Fusion applications. Until now, if we wanted to do this, we had two workaround approaches which were documented in this blogs. One of them was to use the application composer custom objects, which was kind of acting as a kind of a middle agent between the Fusion SaaS API calls and the external APIs. The other option was to use the API gateway. Okay, so both these approaches are fairly documented in this two articles. But in this video, we are looking at a different approach wherein we use the concept of local servers and then configuring the backend for the same in the Fusion apps. Okay, so within your Fusion apps, you go into the navigator and click on Visual Builder. You will land into this particular Visual Builder VB Studio. I mean VB Studio for this particular SaaS application, and then within that, I've created a workspace called as Test OIC. This Test OIC is nothing but it is creating a simple app UI. It is called as the app UI is called as Test OIC with a single page which is using the welcome page template. And within the welcome page template, I have embedded a button, and when I click this button, you can see I am getting a notification. This notification is nothing but the response which I am getting from the OIC API. If I show you the button, it is nothing special. It is invoking the OIC API and then showing that message in the notification. If I go to this particular service connection, you can see that it is just invoking that particular endpoint. And if I go to the servers for this, it is coming from a backend. Let's open and see that backend. So in this backend, if you edit this, you will be able to see that this is invoking my OIC with a basic auth with the username and password. But the key thing to note here is that it is marked as a local server definition. Note this, right? Let me cancel this and create a new backend for you to show the difference. I'll create a new backend directly within here. Custom, let's say test OIC. Click on next. Okay, let me use test OIC to click on next. Okay, here if you see the authentication options available, it is either Oracle Cloud account or OAuth 2.0 user session, which means the APIs that you are trying to invoke should be able to accept the Jeff Fusion token which is generated. And this may not be possible always, right? Because you may not have the control of that API, or even if you have that control, you may not want to enable federation or uh, do all this workarounds of using App Composer or API Gateway. Well, in this approach, what we have done is we have enabled this local server definition. Once we enable this, you can see that we have all the different options available. Okay, so is it as simple as just enabling this local server definition? No. Okay, I'll show you what is the catch here. Let me cancel this. If I go into this particular page, right? So if I click here, I'm able to see the response. But if I open this page from a new tab by clicking this play button, and when I click on the same button here again, I would get an error message that the server is not configured, which means the local server definition would work only when you are in the designer view of that particular app UI extension. But once you come out of the designer view, when you are opening from a new tab, or if you are opening from the deployed version, it will not work until you go and set up that backend in the Fusion SaaS. And how do you do that? Go to your Fusion SaaS, go to your setup and maintenance, and search for this task called as manage backends for Visual Builder Studio. Okay, and once you click this, you will land in this particular page wherein you can create your backends. Click on create, and then here you will have to specify your extension ID, backend name, URL, description, and the different parameters. Okay, how do you find out what is the extension ID and backend name? Go back into your application app UI extension, go to your service connection. Okay, so now the backend, right here, let me go into this endpoints. Okay, So anything after this site underscore test YC is nothing but the extension ID. So I copy this, put it here, and the value after the colon is nothing but the backend name. Okay, extension ID and the backend name. Okay, and the instance URL. Let me copy paste the instance URL, just the instance URL, not the full endpoint. So this is like configuring your backend, but within the Fusion application. So whatever you have specified here in your backends, just specify the same thing here. So till here, copy this and put it here. And the authentication type is nothing but, in my case, a basic auth with that particular and password. Click on update. Oh, I have to give a description. OIC backend. Click on update. So this would create the backend for me now, right? So next time if I want to use any new endpoint, I know I don't have to create the same backend again, because my service connection, I can create it from the existing backend. So, okay, I can create it from the existing backend. Even if I go by defined by endpoint, I can choose the backend and then continue. Okay, let me cancel this. Now that the backend is defined, this would open up the application. Okay, if you click on the button here, we should be able to get the response back from the OIC endpoint successfully. Okay, let's also try to deploy this application and see if it works on the once it is deployed as well. Okay, so I have deployed this application, and let's see if the deployed version is working fine as well. I click on this button and I get back the response from OIC. Okay, so in this way we can use the concept of local servers while working during the design time, and then define the backend using this option of manage backends for Visual Builder Studio. Thank you.